Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the fish room. My name is Travis and welcome back to another video. So today is going to be a quick basic top off video for the Avast Marine Kalk Stirrer. Now with that, the reason why I'm making the video is because a while back when I first started using this thing, I made a mistake and I want to go over that mistake and hopefully you guys can avoid it and won't cause any issues to your reef tank. Now thankfully enough, I have a pretty large water volume down here, about approximately 500 gallons. And I kind of avoided any really major issues. But if you have a small tank and you make the mistake that I'm about to show you, you could possibly cause some alkalinity spikes with your system. So with that being said, let's go ahead and go over this setup real quick before we get started. Now, as you can see, I am using the Neptune Apex dose, which then pulls water from my Geo's Reef 30-gallon ATO, pumps it over here, and then drops it to the bottom of the Kalk reactor. Now, at this point, it's going to stir with all the stuff, and you can see that it is super low. And I'm also pulling some air bubbles because my ATO is low, so we're just kind of knocking it out of the park today. Anyways, it will fill up, and then it will drain over into my refugium section, and then, of course, be mixed with the tank at that point. Now, with that, I will do a separate video on this topic of why I use Kalk with a calcium reactor. I will do a more in-depth video on why I like to use the two methods, but long story short, it is a backup system. It does supplement the reef tank, and it does allow a little bit of elevated pH alongside with my CO2 scrubber. So with that being said, let's go to move over to the top off process, and we'll talk about the mistake I made, and yeah, let's go and do it. Okay, so first things first, I'm using the bulk reef supply Kalkwasser. Pretty basic stuff. It's the 2-pound container. This lasts me like 4 or 5 months. Now, currently, I'm going through it a little bit faster. I'm doing about 10 to 11,000 milliliters per day. I'm only dosing that much at the moment because I'm burning through the media in my calcium reactor because I'm going to be replacing it with some reborn. That's a separate video. You guys will see it. So right now, the Kalk reactor is just kind of compensating for what the calcium reactor is not able to put out at the moment. So again, 2 pounds lasts me 3 or 4 months on average. It's pretty good stuff, and again, it's relatively cheap. Now, let's go and talk about the issue that when you're topping this off. Now, given that there's nothing in there, I'm probably going to put half of this. Let's see how much I want to put in here, but most likely at least half of this container is going to go in here. Now, adding a pound of that Kalkwasser into this reactor is going to cause all that water to flow over into the tank. Now, this is all saturated kalk, right? The last thing you want is to dump all that water that's being displaced into the tank. And if, you know, given that it is a 300, it's not a huge deal. But if you have a smaller tank and you're using a reactor the size, you know, like a 50-gallon or something like that, you might have issues if you're putting a pound of kalk and all that water being dispersed or displaced is put into your system. Now, so an easy solution. I just grab a bucket, 5-gallon bucket, some tube here, and I'll just take it to the side. I'm going to siphon this out and try not to get any kalk in my mouth. And I'm just going to siphon out a bunch of it. Whatever's too much. I mean, there's no such thing as too much, but take out about half the reactor just in case, and then I'll just top it off with ATO water afterward. Pretty simple process. We're going to pull out some more here, just because it is going to splash all over the place when I dump it in there. And yeah, that looks pretty good. And you'll be like, oh man, this is probably the most basic video in the world, but that's what we're here for, right, YouTube? So we're going to just go ahead and start topping it off. I'm going to go for half. We're going to see what the bottom looks like. It's going to take a little bit of time to settle, so I'll start off with half here and kind of see where I'm at. That's pretty close. Let's do a little bit more. As long as the little army thingamajigger at the bottom, because that's the correct term, is actually rotating as it should, I don't really care how much is in there. Now, just going to give that time to settle, see where it kind of sits at the bottom there, come back, top it off if we need to, and if not, then I'm just going to add some ATO water, bring it back up to just under the surface, and let the system run as normal. So we'll check back when that clears up, and we'll make some adjustments. So we'll be back in like, I don't know, half an hour or so. Okay, so it looks like I have plenty of kalk in there. We're right above, maybe like a ½ an inch above the actual stir. So I think I'm good. It's about half the container. So now I'm just going to go ahead and top it off with some RO water. I'll turn on the mixing station here real quick. And again, this is RO water, the same stuff that's going to be in the ATO. Now I'm just going to go ahead and top it up right before it starts to overflow, and then I'll let the dose pump finish it off, allowing it all to mix together. And yeah, pretty easy process. And here we go, done. Again, it's right before it's about to overflow into the sump. Now, yeah, every 3 to 4 months, same process. Again, it's probably more in-depth video than it needs to be, but like I said, if you have a smaller tank and you're dumping a ton of calc in there, you're probably going to have a little bit of an issue. Now, with that being said, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Any questions, let me know, and stay tuned. I will do an in-depth video on why I use, again, the calcium reactor and the calc reactor together. We'll talk about the backup systems that I have set in place, how I balance the two, the benefits of having both of them, and yeah. So again, with that said, if you want to support the channel, head over to fishofhex.com. 30% off all coral for the month of May. Use the code, I believe it's Clean House 30%. I'll put it in the description. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.